Welcome back to the Tales of Yavard. We are a Mythcraft TTRPG podcast, and this is our first campaign, The Sea's Tale. I am Corey Griffin, and I will be our MC, and with me I have Jesse.
Hey, I am Jesse. I will be playing the character of Zephyr, an air elemental, and I'm excited to see where the story goes with you guys.
And today, our tale begins as we zoom into Greystone on Dryfloor. We see young Zephyr, so probably 6-7 years old, kind of sitting at the table. Your father, Karis, is telling stories.
Okay.
And he says, the sea, she be fun, she be fine, as long as you learn to respect her. And he moves his, what remains of his left arm. It's kind of amputated just above the left elbow. And he says, if not, she do be taking her own pound of flesh.
I'll always trust the sea. It'll never take me like that.
Oh no, don't you be thinking like that now there, boy. No. When we rode as the Windwalkers, you only trust her so far, but you respect her. That is the big thing to remember about the sea, my boy.
When can I be one of the Windwalkers?
Oh, not yet. As things look, you still got a little bit more growing to do.
Okay.
At this point, there is a bit of a knock at the door. And your father kind of gestures you at the door.
I'll go in.
As you remember, your father's also missing his right leg. Pretty much from the hip down.
I'll get it. Who's there? I say as I open the door.
Let me in, little one. It's a voice that you're used to hearing. He comes in to talk to your father every now and then. Do you open the door?
Yes. The door's open. Standing
in front of you is a large wind elemental man. Man is kind of one way of putting it. He is an air elemental. He is very much as androgynous presenting as you yourself are. He stands rather tall at like 6'3", 6'4", and has an extremely lithe build himself.
Okay.
You know this to be Aegis, your father's friend.
Okay.
Hello, little one. Your father's still around?
Sure thing.
Yar, I be in here at the table, Aegis. I be in here at the table. Come on in. Thank you, my kind friend. He comes in and he sits down. And he and your father get to talking. How engaged are you with your father's friend?
As a 6-year-old, he seems like a very interesting character. Definitely has that air of adventure about him. And to a 6-year-old, that's got to be, the coolest thing ever.
Right.
But probably not enough to really pick up a lot of details. Just kind of like, oh, that's cool Uncle Aegis,
Mm-hmm. Eventually, the conversations turn boring really, really quick. Because they start talking about the price of sugar and the price of ale.
Yeah, he's going to tune out real quick.
Yeah. Eventually, if he's still paying attention, Aegis does put a coin purse down. And your father grabs it with his good hand. And again, you hear the phrase, "Thank you for all the good work you've done, Carter. Your boy does look good. Yar, you know me. The boy do got a little bit of wanderlust in him though. And at that, Aegis laughs deeply. He definitely comes by it naturally, that's for sure. Yar, at which point Aegis will get up, kind of walk over to you, and ruffle your hair a bit. I believe you have hair at this point, don't you?
Yeah.
Ruffle your hair a little bit, and then continue on.
See you later, Uncle Aegis.
See you later, little. This is not an uncommon occurrence for you in your childhood. You probably see Uncle Aegis roughly every 1 to 3 months. He always brings your parents some silver, and your life is relatively comfortable. You're not rich by any means, but you're not starving either.
Okay.
Your mother, Alexia Valkane, is a elf of not mediocre intelligence. She works at a local library nearby.
Okay.
How much does Zephyr engage with his mother's profession?
I would say he's probably in there quite a bit, looking for, any interesting stories. It being a library, there's a lot of find in there, and he's just got this wanderlust of wanting to see the world. So he's seeing the world through books.
Mm-hmm. So one of the days while you're looking for books, as you're going through and looking for these stories, all of a sudden wind starts whipping around you faster and faster, up to the speed of like a couple books start to like lift themselves up off of the shelf and almost start circling you a little bit.
Okay.
Eventually, your mother, Alexia, would come see you and be like, Zephyr, are you alright? Zephyr?
I don't know what's happening. Where's this wind coming from?
Zephyr? What are you feeling right now?
I don't know. I was reading this book and I was just thinking about how cool it would be to be out in the clouds flying, and then suddenly this wind started picking up.
Let's stop thinking about flying a little bit. All right, maybe it's not a good idea.
Okay, I'll try.
And all of a sudden, the wind stops.
What's that?
Well, my baby boy, you seem to be gifted you seem to be gifted a little bit. I think I'm gonna have some more books for you to read.
What kind of books?
Ones that you're not gonna want to read.
Oh, homework?
In a sense. And she would motion for you to follow along. And she pulls off a book, and you read the title, and it is called Primal Magic and Where to Find It. It is honestly one of the worst reads you've ever done. But your mom doesn't ask you to do many things. Oh, I don't know how you would feel about this.
I mean, if she's telling me to read it, I would go for it. Boring, but
yeah. As you read some of these descriptions, like you hear tale of people who, with just a flick of their wrist and a few simple words, would summon smoke, or people who, with just a couple words, running across brambles and not getting touched.
Okay.
And I don't know what this does to a 6-year-old's mind.
probably be asking his mother, can these people really do these things? Are there people that can do this?
Hmm. There most certainly are. Um, your father's friend Aegis is one of them.
Well, they just can do these things.
Yes, he can. From what I understand, he can do them to great effect.
So, when that wind picked up, that was coming from me. Does that mean that I can do this stuff?
Um, you should be able to, yes. With a little bit of practice and a little bit of, assistance that you need, you should be able to. But it's going to require more study and some practice. Now, I do not imagine Zephyr to be someone that would go looking for an instructor. I kind of imagine Zephyr, who reads this story, especially after this interaction, is like, can I try to do such thing?
Yeah.
So, give me some examples of some of the things he tries to do.
So, after he's reading some of these books, I could see him trying to jump, like do the spree step, reading the description of people who, with this ability, can jump really far, and in an attempt to control the wind like he did the first time, definitely has more of an affinity with that, and tries to really just get those winds swirling around him. And I would probably see him figuring out how to pull a mist up around him.
Okay. And not to the chagrin of your mother, I have a feeling that you tried to do this in the library. Most of these things in the library.
Probably before she kicks him out.
And over the next few years, you do eventually, gather a relatively good understanding of your powers. I kind of imagine a 8-year-old Zephyr jumping from bookshelf to bookshelf in the library before his mother catches him.
Okay, I can see that.
And she shoos him out. And then a couple days later, there's just this strange mist rolling into the library. And eventually, after an impromptu game of hide and seek on your mother's side and completely intentional on yours, she will find you and tell you to take it outside. I do believe these shenanigans go on for a few years.
Oh, yeah.
So I am going to fast forward a couple of years now as you've been practicing the magics that are within you. And it was one of the days that your mother definitely kicked you out of the library. You're 10. You're still playing the pranks, though they seem to have gotten more and more elaborate. This time, though, what do you do? This is a question. What does a 10-year-old do when he's kicked out of the library?
In a town like Greystone, he would probably head down to the docks, because lots of movement, lots of trouble to get into, and pulling pranks on the dog.
So you see this almost panther-esque attack, and you've pulled pranks on him before, but this is definitely one that he's one that has chased you away with a stick before.
Okay.
And what is the prank you're gonna play on him today?
I would use a mist to just make his life difficult.
And you hear him cussing in the mist. If I get my hands on you, kid, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Where the fuck are you?
You'll never catch me.
And eventually, he does find his way out of the mist, and he locks eyes with you. And you catch notice of a knife that he has in his hands, and he's like, "What did I fucking tell you?" And he starts coming at you. What are you doing?
Definitely gonna try to keep my distance. This would be a great time for me to try to jump up and away from him.
You do make yourself up to a low roof and then kind of start running along the roofs. But you keep finding this attack. And go ahead and make me a dexterity check. With a 15, you don't fall. But eventually you get to this area of on the roofs that you normally find a way down before you get here. But you've met the section before the wall. Which the wall in Dry 4, they do not let people through the wall into more of Dry 4 from your side of the city.
Yeah.
From Greystone. Unless you come from the other side, they don't necessarily let you in.
Yeah.
And that Katek is still following you.
So I'm up on the wall, kind of at a...
Well, you're on the roof before the wall, but there's like a 30-foot gap between the wall and this roof. And the wall is much higher than this roof.
Okay. So, basically a dead end.
Yeah, you've kind of worked yourself into a dead end.
And the Kedek is right on my heels, I'm guessing?
He is on the ground. He is not following you on the roofs, but you can still see him.
Okay. In that case, I would probably try to use a mist again to conceal him. Put the mist over him so that he can't see if I have that much control over it at that age.
I don't think that you do in this level of panic.
Okay.
And I do believe you're starting to panic.
Yeah, definitely.
This man has chased you from the docks to the wall.
And it's clear that he is out for violence.
So, in your frightened state, you use one of your favorite, you try to pull the emotions that you've used for the mist before. However, this very much is not mist. As shocking bits start shooting from you to him. And eventually a current of electricity flows out of you and into him. And it will eventually leave him unconscious.
Okay.
What can you do?
From there, if he is unconscious and I've just out of nowhere electrocuted him, I would probably take the opportunity to vamoose out of there, head home, but I would definitely be wanting to know more about what just happened.
Understandably, because you just shocked the guy.
Yeah. Haven't ever done that before. Kind of freaked out.
Right. So you head home, and your father is not one much for going out. As you can imagine, it's not easy for him to walk around.
Yeah.
So your father is home, and he's like, "Oh, my boy, you be home early. How are you? All right?"
I think I'm okay, but there was this guy at the docks that was chasing me, and I don't know how it happened, but something happened and it shocked me. It was like lightning. I don't understand what happened, but he was definitely laying there after it was over.
That is not good, my boy. That's not good. I'm gonna look into. Well, I'm gonna look into what happened here today. You're gonna stay here for a little while.
Okay.
You're not gonna go with your mother to the library until I can get down to the bottom of what happened. All right?
Okay, Father.
For the next few days, probably to your absolute horror, you are stuck inside.
I'm sure the first day he would be pretty understanding of it and still kind of shaken from the whole ordeal, but at that age, you get boring pretty quick.
Your mother does bring you a book or two to read from home from the library. This one is called The Tale of the Sea, and it is a story of a great sailor who travels around going on adventures and saving people. Definitely more your kind of book than what she's been giving you lately.
Sure.
But also definitely not necessarily. It's very much not magic.
Yeah, he's kind of moved on from the adventure books, and he's now more wanting to know more about these powers, stuff like that. So switching back to Tales of the Sea probably is a little slow for him.
Mm-hmm. And your mother keeps bringing these kinds of books. You are inside for what is roughly a week, aka an eternity to a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
But at the end of that week, your father, you watch him take this apparatus and strap it to his leg, and you're used to your father kind of using a cane in his right hand and just kind of hopping around the house.
Okay.
Because that's how he gets around the house. But you see your father standing up on this prosthetic leg.
Okay.
And you take notice he also has a prosthetic on his left arm that just ends with like a round piece of steel that's just attached to his arm. And you take notice he seems to move around all right without his cane that you're so used to him using.
Sure.
You've seen your father do almost acrobatic-like things with this cane, but this is definitely a different look than you're used to seeing from your father. And he says, "Tomorrow, you should be able to go outside without a problem.
Fine.
Until I get back, you're gonna have to stay inside. All right, my boy?"
Okay.
and your father goes out. I kind of imagine that you're reading for this section of the time.
Sure.
Even though what you want is magic books, you still don't mind the Tales of Adventurers.
Yeah.
But eventually, probably 3 hours or so later, your father comes back. He opens the door, and the distinctive sound of a peg leg hitting wooden floorboards is heard. And you look at your father, and you notice some red stains on that prosthetic arm of his. You also take notice of a few bruises on your father's face, but he says, "All right, my boy, you can go outside and play now. Don't go down by the docks, at least for a little bit yet."
What happened, Father? What happened with that headache?
They are taken care of for the moment.
All right, you say so.
And I think you happily skip along outside.
Yeah. Happy to finally be out of this.
We're going to fast forward a little bit. You are 19 now. You've pretty well read everything on magic in Dryfor. You may have also read every adventure book in Dryfor. And while you're not necessarily picked on, you don't necessarily have a lot of friends. But we're focusing in. There's a knock at your door. And it is Aegis. He calls out again. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Uncle Aegis, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Just, normal day.
Again, your father meets him with much gusto, as he has every time Aegis has came in. And your father and him have a much more interesting conversation for Zephyr this time. Because your father says, I think the boy might be ready for some time on the sea. And Aegis kind of raises an eyebrow a bit and looks to you, and he says, do you wish to be a sailor?
Oh, love to. I've been dreaming of this day.
And you wish to be a windwalker?
I've heard so many stories about him. I would be honored to be a part of the Windwalkers. Just like my father.
It gives me much joy to hear you say those words. I'll take you to my ship, the Sea's Jewel, and maybe I can find something for you to do. That sound like a plan, young one?
Oh, yes. I can't wait.
Alrighty. How about you go and get your things packed?
He probably wouldn't even respond. He would just rush off, go get his stuff.
And, you rush off, quickly throwing your things together. Did you roll your trinket? So, as you're throwing things together, you make sure to throw something that you call your treasure. It is a spiral seashell that seems to be whispering an ancient language when you hold it to your ear. You found this a couple years ago, and it's just amazing. You love listening to it sometimes for hours on end.
Sounds amazing.
But as you come back out, your father once again has his prosthetic leg on, and he's standing there, and your father's like 6 foot tall when he's standing on with his prosthetic. Roughly how tall is Zephyr?
He is 5'8".
So he's he's quite a bit taller than you. He's
Yeah.
like 4 inches taller than you when he fully stands up. He walks over to you and he holds out his arms and he says, "Give me a hug, my boy, before you leave."
He does.
And you know, your father wraps his good arm around you and tells you, "I'm gonna miss you, my boy. Been with us a long time. Obviously, you know you're adopted.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out.
I mean, you always were a bright one. We figured you knew. Me and your mother are both elves, and you most certainly are not an elf.
Yeah, I don't have them ears.
But it doesn't make you any less my son. I love you, my boy. Be safe out there."
I love you too, Papa. I'll always remember you guys, and I'll come home to visit whenever I can.
I look forward to seeing you again, my boy. He eyes Aegis a little bit, and he says, "Well, I guess he's yours now." He says, Aegis replies saying, "Yes." Aegis turns on his heels and strides out the door, saying, "Come along, my young one. We got much to do before we set sail."
And he would follow along right away. I mean, he is just raring to go.
"Right, young one. Look forward to seeing what's going on." And he takes you down to the docks. I'm not going to say that you avoided the docks since your little incident when you were 10, but I will say maybe you don't play pranks there anymore.
No, he's definitely would have ceased those activities to the degree they were.
Right. Down at the docks, you do see probably one of the largest ships you've ever seen. You've seen the Seas Jewel before, but always at a distance, but this is a 6-masted ship.
Okay.
And she seems to use all of the power that those 6 masts provide to kind of move its own bulk.
Okay.
He says, "For the most part, I'm probably going to have you work with my cousin Stomach and Clep."
Demic and Clep.
Yep. Stomach is my first mate on the Seas Jewel, and Clep do be our chef.
Okay. I can't wait to meet him.
Walks you up onto the ship. The deck of the ship is quite busy with all kinds of people going left and right. You see a couple dragonfolk, you see a couple Kleppen, you even see a couple more air elementals, which you're not used to see. You've seen other elementals in Dryfor, but for the most part, they were water and earth.
Okay.
It's not that you've never seen another air elemental, it's just that they're slightly more rare.
Sure.
With that being said, Aegis would walk you up, one of your air elementals actually, the particular, and he introduces you. He's like, "Demek, this is Zephyr." The air elemental will look you up and down and say, "All right, you got any experience on a boat, kid?"
I haven't really been on him much, but I've read a lot of stories, and I've read about it a whole lot.
That answer seems to get a lot of laughs from the people on that.
Figured as much.
Including Aegis does seem to chuckle as well, as Stemic says, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll teach you how to be a decent sailor at least. Though I do think you might be better served working for Klep to begin with." Aegis would nod and say, "Stemic, if you don't mind, can you take the boy here down to see what yourself. Yes, Captain, I don't mind. These lout know what they're doing anyway. And he would, Stomach would motion for you to follow him.
Okay, he's gonna follow him and just kind of looking around the ship and all these new things that he's seen.
As you're following behind Stomach is not gonna say. So you're the boy that's been living with Carnus, eh?
Yeah, he's the closest thing to a father I've ever had.
Carnus is good folk. Too bad what happened with that shark and the bear.
Is that how he lost his arm and leg?
Yeah, the bear took his arm, the shark took his leg.
He's told me all kinds of stories, but it changes every time.
That don't surprise me. He was quite drunk when the shark took his leg. And who would ever believe that a bear swam out to sea and ate that man's arm?
The bear was at sea?
We were 3 days away from any land, and this freaking bear just started. We saw it just swimming in the water. Believe me, I do not recommend messing with that. If you see a bear in the water, do not try and fight that.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
It's not a good time. He takes you down 2 floors. On this floor, he opens up a room, and in this room there are multiple hammocks. Go ahead and throw your stuff there. You'll be sleeping on that third one up there. There's a rope hanging next to the hammocks for you to climb up and get into the hammock. I think I'm going to introduce you to Traven, who, Traven's the one that made that prosthetic arm of Carnus's.
Oh, I only got to see that one time.
One time. That's kind of interesting. He used to never take it off.
Yeah, he usually didn't wear it around the house.
Let me tell you, that thing hit like a brick. Seen many a man get knocked off a boat by that killer left hook Carnus had.
He's told me some stories, but he didn't tell me a whole lot after he lost his arm.
Well, it's understandable. I'm assuming you put your things down where he kind of told you to put them down?
Yeah.
And as you do, you find like something was tucked into your bag that you don't remember putting it there, especially not with it being on top. And it's a small silver locket with a strand of hair.
Okay. Kind of look it over and see if I recognize it.
I mean, you think you've seen your mother wear this before, and as you kind of look at it, you take notice that it's probably your hair from when you were young.
Okay.
But
He would definitely have kind of a slightly nostalgic moment, recognizing that and thinking about home. But he's still excited to leave. But every kid has that kind of moment of what I'm looking for, kind of.
I mean, you're leaving home for the first time.
Yeah.
It is find random things and get nostalgic.
Yes.
And then Stomach leads you down the other end of that hallway. On the door that he knocks on is just a symbol that even you recognize as this is a physician's symbol.
Okay.
It is 2 fish chasing each other's tail.
Okay.
And the door is answered by what looks to be a young brunette. And the Brunei's like, hi, Stomach. Traven will be here. Traven went to shore because he needed more medical supply. Stomach gets this look on his face of like, why the hell was I not told he was leaving the boat? Kind of look on his face, and he looks at the Brunei and he's like, all right, Smudge, this is Zephyr. Hello.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. This is my first time on the ship.
Okay. If you need help, just let me know. And damn it, he looks at Smudge and he's like, all right, there, Smudge. Why don't you take Zephyr here and take him down to meet Clay? And Smudge gets this look on his face of almost horror as he says, yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do that. Yeah, I can do that. All right, good on you. It was good meeting you, Zephyr.
It's good meeting you too, Mr. Stemic, sir.
Stemic Windwalker.
Stemic Windwalker. Okay.
Yes, Aegis is my cousin. All right, now you two do be good.
Okay.
And Stemic would start going back up the stairs to go find his doctor.
Sure.
Who is not supposed to not be in his office.
Okay.
And Smudge would look over at you and be like, oh, okay, so you're going to Clep. Oh boy, okay. Alright, follow me, please.
Okay. What can you tell me about Colette? You seem like you're almost scared of him.
Well, if you like to eat, you want to be in Clip's good graces. If you don't like to eat, it doesn't really matter. But, Clep, don't bring it up about his, foot.
What's wrong with his foot?
Just don't bring it up.
Okay, I'll try.
The last person that brought it up, Clep only gave them the tops to carrots for them to eat for a month.
Oh, I didn't think those were edible.
Anything is edible when you're hungry enough.
Okay, that's fair.
And he leads you down, and he leads you into the galley, and you see a rabbit folk Kleppen, and his skin is almost snow white, and his back is to you at the moment. But there is a particular thing that you, as this Kleppen moves around, you know the sound because of your father. You hear wood hitting wood.
Okay, he would probably just blurt out. Well, he would say it to Smudge. My father has a prosthetic leg like that. But being the age he is, probably louder than he should say.
Okay. So you're saying it louder. Alright, so this rabbit folk spins around. And what's that supposed to mean, huh? You trying to say something about my leg? Trying to say something about my foot? As he turns around, you see that from a necklace hanging around his neck, you see a small actual rabbit's foot as he comes around the counter and walks like straight up to you, and he's like, "You trying to say something? Trying to say something? You got a problem?"
No problem. I don't want any problem. I noticed that you had a prosthetic leg, and my father does too. It's not a problem though. Uh,
He taps his prosthetic, his quote unquote peg leg. For the most part, it's just like from the ankle down, just has a bit of like just a little bit of a spike to keep things even, right? And he's like, listen, it ain't no prosthetic leg. This is just something for me to kick people with. You ever think about that?
no, I hadn't thought about that, sir. I guess that's handy.
Anyway, what are you doing here? No one's supposed to be in my galley yet for another like 3 hours. What are you doing here?
Stemic sent me. I'm new to the ship. I guess I'm supposed to work with you.
Oh, great. So they're gonna give me the new person. Anyway, Jesus. Okay, whatever. Okay, you know how to peel potatoes.
Sure.
All right, you're gonna be peeling potatoes probably until your hands bleed. You understand that?
That sounds awful.
It will be.
Okay.
Come along. And he continues to walk. He walks just as fast as he talks.
Awesome.
Back into the kitchen, and Smudge just kind of looks at you and is like, "You shouldn't have said anything about his foot."
I didn't mean. I didn't think he'd hear.
Do you not see the size of his? What are you talking about?
Nothing.
I said, come along.
Be right there.
If you're slow, you're gonna end up getting burned. Come on.
He hurries off after him in the awkward way that teenagers who aren't really comfortable with their surroundings do.
So he obviously leads you shows you around the galley at the speed of which he has been talking. It's just like, this is where we keep the dry goods, this is where we keep the wet goods, this is the barrels water goes in. If anyone tries to fuck with my water, you kill them. Do you understand me?
Okay, sure. That seems excessive.
Nope. Okay. We don't drink water on the ship. We have grog for that.
We don't drink it. What's the water for?
The water for cooking.
Oh.
And for diluting the grog a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, and like he brandishes a knife out of like a knife block, and it's just like a little herring knife. And like all of a sudden he's all but juggling this knife back and forth. Anyway, so yeah, we're getting a lot of potatoes for dinner, which means you need to start peeling potatoes. And with each word, the knife passes back and forth through his hands. And then all of a sudden the knife disappears and you hear a thump behind you. You're going to be working right there. There are the potatoes. Get to work.
He's going to go over and kind of glancing at the strange rabbit folk person and grab the knife and head over to the potatoes.
And obviously you get to work.
Yeah.
Eventually the ship sets sail. You're still working.
Yeah. And a little disappointed to not see the movement on the deck, but, definitely don't want to piss off Klep any further.
Gonna do a little bit of a fast forwarding here.
Okay.
You work with Klep. You sleep above 2 humans. The humans are friendly enough, though they do work up top.
Okay.
Both of them are riggers. They are friendly enough, right? They are perfectly friendly. However, it has been a week since you have been above the 3rd floor.
Just below decks. Gotcha.
You've been below decks almost consistently. Klep wakes you up in the morning, and by the time he lets you go, you can barely climb the rope to get into your bunk. That being said, Klep is enjoyable enough to work.
I'm sure energetic guy like that, you're going to hear some stuff, you're going to see some stuff.
Yep. And once it kind of comes out that you're Karis's kid, he no longer has quite as hostile a he's no longer hostile towards you at all because he remembers
Yeah.
that Karis from their time together. And you hear another story. And he's like, I remember back before Stemic joined us, and we had back when Karis was first made, and Karis knew how to have fun. Yeah, he ran a tight ship while we were moving, but the minute we stopped, Lord, did we have some fun. I mean, heck, you're the byproduct of some of that fun, Like, there was this one time we were in Arna. We stopped at Deepport for a little while. Oh, that was some wild times. I do feel like Harness knows where every brothel in the world is at this point. Like, it is just incredible.
You said I was a product of one of those? Did you know who my real father was?
Oh, no. And at that, Klep stops talking. You've worked with Klep for like a week now. He's never stopped. He barely stops talking enough for you to ask a question.
So this is definitely there's something going on, and he has just tight.
Yep. And Klep is like, that ain't my story to tell. Sorry. That ain't my story to tell.
But you obviously know something. You can't tell me anything.
That ain't my story to tell.
Well,
that ain't up to me.
Well, whose story is it to tell? I've always wanted to know who my real parents were. That's
between Karis the captain and you. That's got nothing to do with me. No, you gotta leave me out of that, please.
You mean the captain knows too?
Shit!
Does everybody know who my parents were but me?
Not everybody. I mean, the officers probably know. Stemic definitely knows. Traven probably knows. I'm not sure. Bartholomew doesn't know. He's new. Okay, no, not everybody. Just some of us. Just those of us that know.
Is it somebody on the ship?
It ain't my story to tell.
You have to tell me something.
Are you trying to tell me what I do and do not have to do, huh? Is that what you're telling me?
No, sir.
No, this is my galley.
Yes, sir.
Alright, go peel some more potatoes. We're gonna need them for dinner tonight.
At this point, he's gonna go to it and he's gonna peel the potatoes, but I mean, he's definitely very introspective and kind of slow going at potatoes. He's just lost in thought, processing this information.
That is definitely something to be when you get a bomb dropped like that. And it's probably an hour or two later, and all of a sudden you hear a bell start ringing, like someone is ringing a bell, and it's definitely not Klep ringing the dinner bell. And Klep looks up and is like, "Oh fuck! All right.
What's going on?"
That just means that they see a ship.
What do we do?
You listen, right? If you listen and you hear it, 3 quick and then a pause just means that it's a ship on the horizon. If it's 2 quick and a pause, then it means we got a fight on our hands. You any good in a fight?
I don't know. I've never really been in a whole lot of fights. I do know some some spells though, but I've never really used them in a fight.
All right. Well, that is definitely something for me to remember in the future. And again, you hear 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then, and like, Clef has stopped moving, which is even rarer than him not talking.
Yeah.
I mean, you have literally looked up and seen him just kind of pirouetting on his prosthetic, because it's easier to spin on that than to twist his ankle around. And then you hear, but he's standing there. He has his hands like flat on the counter, like he's counting. And every time the second one hits, before the third, you watch him tense up, and then when the third one hits, he relaxes a little.
Okay.
Because 2 is fight, 3 is just a shit.
So it's clear that he is just like preparing for some kind of action.
And then all of a sudden, the entire ship lists to the starboard side. It's like the entire ship got hit with something.
Okay. So it was like it rocked the ship, it's not just turned.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you hear it 1, 2, pause. 1, 2. And Clef's like, well, kid, this is all I gotta say. Try and keep up, alright?
I'll do my best.
And Clef goes to a cabinet that he told you don't open. And he throws it open. And inside is a small freaking armor. You see a couple bows, a couple swords, a sling or 2. And you watch as he grabs things out of this. And he looks at you and he's like, you know how to shoot a bow?
Yeah, my father taught me how to shoot a bow pretty well.
That doesn't surprise me. And he tosses you a recurve bow.
Yeah.
But yeah, he tosses you a recurve bow. And he's like, alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up top. Well, no, we're gonna go up 1 floor and see if Demek has anything for us to do. But keep this on you.
I will.
And you go up, and as you even start climbing the stairs, you hear Demek. Yeah, you go to the port side cannon. You go to the starboard cannons. No, they don't fuck with the wrong crew today.
Definitely shouting orders out to everybody.
Yep. And as Clef and you start to approach, he says, Clef, take the kid back downstairs. I don't want him up top of this.
I can fight, sir.
I don't care. You and Clef are gonna stay in the kitchens. Actually, no. I got something better for you to do. Clef, take him to Traven and make sure Traven doesn't try to get into this fight. Your job, and he points directly at Zephyr. Your job is to make sure that Traven does not try to fight. Do you understand me?
Traven doesn't fight. I got it.
If Traven so much as picked up a fucking weapon, you're in trouble. Got me?
Okay, I'll do my best.
Alright. And Clef is just like, fuck you! I came up here because I can fight just as well as you can. Take the kid downstairs. And Klep just kind of looks at you, looks at Stemek, and it's just like, come on, Zephyr. I guess we're on protection duty.
And in this chaos, he's just gonna follow. Like, just whatever they're doing, he's going with it.
Go down below deck. You go back to that room with that is marked with the 2 fish, and as you go inside, you see this onyx black dragon, and the dragonborn's like,
Hello, how does it go?
As he seems to be rifling through some of his stuff.
Well, it's pretty crazy up top.
Where did I put my axe?
You're not. I was told that you're not supposed to fight.
Of course I'm supposed to. We're pirates after.
What? Wait, pirates? I thought we were just sailors.
What is the sailor except for a pirate that has yet to wander?
Okay, well, either way, I was told to keep you from fighting. You're not. I'm not allowed to let you pick up a weapon.
Mm.
And he kind of puffs out his chest with that last bit, with some, young bravado.
The old man kind of the dragon ball is definitely on the older side. I don't remember. Walks over and pulls a book off of the shelf.
And so Stemek is trying to make a point, and
He starts slowly using like a quad finger to go through the book. He's like,
though I don't think he realizes exactly what I am.
you can make me an intellect check if you would like.
Intellect check. All right. That is the worst roll I've ever seen for an intellect check. Big old fat 1.
You don't recognize what this book is. Then he says a couple of strange words that you don't necessarily recognize. And all of a sudden the book starts floating on its own.
Okay.
You just let me touch my most powerful. My axe I like to carry around because everyone looks at me and my giant with a big old axe and think, oh, I want to avoid that. Now, shall we have some tea?
I suppose tea sounds okay.
Tea is wonderful in these situations.
He says as he opens up a pot, right? And then all of a sudden the pot is full of water. And then he closes the pot. And then he holds the pot up for a couple minutes. And all of a sudden there's steam coming out of it. He's like,
Oh, if you all would like, perhaps I will tell you a story of the captain. The last time we were in Dryford.
all of a sudden the entire ship lurches to the right. you hear a cacophony of guns going off. Boom, 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 boom. As the seized gem returns fire.
Okay.
I believe that we don't have too much time. It was probably an Artif ship. And based on what I felt, they attacked us first.
That sounds about right. We just suddenly got hit with something.
Yes, definitely. I remember the first firefight we had with the seized gem. That was when we still attempted to use overwhelming force. Because most of us were used to sailing on a much smaller ship. Someone tried to board us, and we unloaded every cannon on the port side. We did not realize that that would sink the ship, though 20 cannonballs going at anything is more than likely going to do quite a bit of damage.
I can only imagine.
They came up to our port side. Of course, the captain was doing some tricky things where he was the only one on deck. Karis was at the bottom of the stairs, listening for the captain's command to let the rest of the crew know to fire all at the same time. The captain had the other ship's captain join the crew. Well, join him on deck. Of course, Karnas and that amazing mace of his quickly dispatched the interlopers as they came down the stairs, and he was even able to mimic an all clear from one of them. At which point, the enemy's ship captain joined our captain on the deck. At which point, our captain gave the signal and we sank the ship. Since then, we no longer attempt to use quite so much trickery. However, we still do sometimes use overwhelming force. The captain has always been a brave man, and we are his windwalkers. He looks directly at Zephyr when he says that.
Okay.
Klep says, "You know what? I wonder if the other ship has any booze on it. We weren't quite able to stock up really well with booze in Drift 4 and Dry 4. So if they have more booze on it, I want that booze. Then maybe we can have a good night."
Yes, it would be quite enjoyable.
Enjoyable? No. I want to have a good night, not an enjoyable night. I want to get absolutely blazed. I want to get absolutely drunk and maybe finally sleep with you and your snoring.
I do not snore.
Yeah, and a bear doesn't swim. Traven definitely shuts up at the bear doesn't swim comment.
I guess there are some things.
Some things, no. There are a lot of things that you need to try and get better with.
I don't appreciate.
I don't appreciate how slow you talk, so we'll just deal with the fact that I know you well enough that I can finish your sentences. And anyway, I haven't heard the cannons fire again. And then all of a sudden you hear ding, pause. And then both Klep and Traven look at each other and they're like, it's safe? Listen, the only reason it would be safe by now would be if we sank them already, and that's sad. It was only one volley. If you could call their pop shot they sent at us a volley.
I would appreciate it better if it was over with. Why don't you take these two topside and see?
Oh, right, all right. All right, you two follow me, come on.
Zephyr, who's been kind of just listening to this whole exchange rather quietly, just kind of checking it out, definitely is going to follow along.
Yeah, and Smudge will follow along as well. As you get up top, you don't see Stemek. However, you do see the wreckage of the other ship. It is almost like they ripped half of it open and let the water go in. But again, when you have 20 guns on each side, it's a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
You see the captain standing there, and he's like, "Hello, how have you been?"
Klep's been keeping me pretty busy down in the galley. I've mostly just been kind of bored down there.
If you've been bored, I can give you more work to do.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
In time, we will move you out of the and probably if what your father has told me is accurate, you should be quite good at it. No, what do you see when you look around the boat?
I see all the other sailors and all the rigging. I'm not sure what should I see.
There are definitely sailors and rigging, but what a boat truly is freedom in this world. You can go from your little town in Dryfor to Osiris, or up to Arik. To the Tulian Islands, all you need is a boat.
I've never really left the town of Greystone, but I've read about all these other places. I'm excited to get out and see more of them.
I am also excited for you to see more of it. We're on our way to Osiris. Osiris is a wonderful little place. I met your mother.
You knew my...
And he walks away.
Without getting any response.
Yeah. he refuses to let you respond to that.
That is sure.
But as the captain walks away, Klep is like, "Nope, we gotta get to that other ship now. We have to try and see if they have any more alcohol. Come on.
He's still kind of watching Aegis leave because he really wants to ask that burning question, but he's also being ushered along by Klep, so he's following.
And you guys find your alcohol that Klep wants so much. And Klep stuffs it down the front of his shirt. It's just like a large bottle of some form of like amber liquid.
Okay.
And he's like, "This is for us for later. Good job today." And he's like, "All right, I don't want to be here too long because I don't want to get searched. I actually want you to get searched. That's why I brought you with me.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Listen, you're not carrying nothing you shouldn't be having on you. I, on the other hand," he touches his chest, "have something for us to share later."
Well, I can't wait for that.
All right. Let's go. And he barks a couple of commands to some other people to grab some barrels of stuff that was in their galley. And obviously, like, Klep is considered, part of the leadership of...
Yeah, he's management, for sure.
He is management. Klep is management. But with that being said, everyone kind of jumps to do what Klep says, because Klep also has that bit of a history of
Kicking people with that thing on his foot.
yeah, I mean, he has kicked people with thing on the foot. He's also made people eat the potato peel.
Ah, yes.
When you're in charge of who eats what, you don't really get messed with.
You don't mess with the people that cook your food.
As the day winds down, you and Klep are in the galley, and he opens the bottle, and he's like, "All right, you earned this today." And he slides the bottle over to you.
Okay? He's gonna, in a, typical youthful show of bravado, just pick it up and take a much bigger shot than he should.
And it is strong. You've been drinking grog for like the past week. So you're like, "Oh, this is alcohol. I can handle alcohol."
Exactly.
The minute this stuff touches your lips, you think you're going to breathe out fire. And Klep laughed at the expression on your face.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry. The first sip is always the worst. Pass it back."
Here you go, he says as he passes it back.
Klep proceeds to drink very, very heavily, passing it back to you if you were to ever motion for it.
Yeah, he would, because it's all about proving himself.
Right. So he does pass it back. He's definitely drinking like 3 to your 1 though.
Okay.
And eventually he's like, "So what was it like? What was it like being landlocked for so long?"
It's all I've ever known, so,
I mean, kinda. You were born as...
And seeing as he is just wasted, Zephyr recognizes this is a moment to potentially get some information. He says, I was born at sea. I don't remember a whole lot about it. Where exactly was I born again?
I mean, shit. You were born in Traven's office. Like, half of us knew you before you ever joined. Like, that's why you're working with me and not as a fucking store boy.
So I was born right here on Sea's Jewel? Sea's Gem?
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Hilarious. So,
That was before we even named this ship.
huh. So, about my father.
Yeah, what about him?
Who, you didn't happen to mention his name?
Don't you know?
No.
There's only one person on this ship with enough power for you not to be a chore boy.
Is my father's stomach?
That makes Klep laugh so hard. Like, you're used to this lively man, and he chuckles a little bit. He's very animated. You've never seen him laugh like as he says, Stomach doesn't enjoy the presence of women.
Oh, I see. So then that only leaves. Is it the captain?
It's not my story to tell.
Oh, come on! It's just between us.
Listen, only one person has the power to let someone retire from a pirate crew to take care of a child. It wasn't even theirs.
So it's definitely the captain. He's kind of mumbling this to himself. You know, Klep's not going to answer too much more about that. So who was my mother?
Klep gets a very sad look on his face.
That's not good.
And he's like, your mother was so beautiful. Up until that bear ate her. Don't go messing with no bears.
She was eaten by the bear?
It was a very strong bear, okay? We still tell stories of the day that bear attacked us.
Slightly horrified by this story, he's kind of sitting here in stunned silence, thinking about the bear that.
I mean, yeah, don't go messing with no bears. Bears bear the brunt of the tragedy that have ever happened to this group.
Yeah, Zephyr is just sitting here in kind of a stunned silence, registering that his mom was killed by presumably the same bear that took the father that he's known his whole life's body parts, and finding out that a person that he's considered sort of like an uncle, but mostly just this interesting guy, is possibly his father.
Yep.
And he's definitely going to take a shot after all of that.
And this one goes down much.
Nothing makes alcohol smooth like trouble.
The next 6 months are relatively happy. Eventually you make your way up into the crow's nest. It's not too long after that conversation that you make yourself up into the crow's nest.
Okay.
You learn what the bell system, even though it's relatively self-explanatory, they do tell it to you like 7 times. They don't want you to.
Sure.
You guys kind of sail, right? You go to Osiris, and 90% of the crew goes into the same brothel, with a few of them not being going in. You and Smudge are sadly told to watch the ship.
Okay.
And Smudge is like, do you actually like what we do here?
Well, it's all still pretty new to me, but I love the adventure and being at sea. I not crazy about being pirates, I guess. It's not what I had pictured, but it doesn't seem so bad.
When you say that, he kind of stops talking. You have seen Smudge. Smudge is everyone's go-get this for kind of person.
Okay.
Smudge is kind of made to run around from the time they wake him up till they finally let him go to sleep. It is not easy being a chore boy. As soon as he kind of hears that, he just kind of leaves you alone.
Okay.
He doesn't talk about what he was going to talk about. Eventually, the ship sets sail again. You're still in the crow's nest. However, one day you are asked to come sit at the captain's table.
Okay.
And he just looks at you and he's like, so, you know now,
About you being my father?
Yes.
I sort of know.
I mean, what is there truly to know?
Is it true? You're my real father?
Yeah.
And who was my mother? I heard how she died, but who was she?
Oh, her name was Rebecca. Oh, she was a good, friendly girl. Like I told you, I met her on Osiris. I fell in love. And that damn bear. That damned bear. We never did kill that damned bear.
It's still out there?
Somewhere.
If I ever see it, I'm gonna kill it.
I mean, it's a wonderful goal. That is a wonderful goal. Now, you've been here with us for 6 months now. Yeah?
Yes. Been the time of my life.
Now, I have a meeting with Palatral Sarkle that I have to meet with him soon. I also have another job. I think it's time that we started raiding again.
Raiding? What do you mean?
We're pirates, my boy.
I've heard a lot of people say that, but I mean, we've mostly just had a couple battles, picked up some stuff from some ships. That's about it.
That's because the Sea's gem has not been accompanied by the rest of my fleet yet. By tomorrow, you should be able to see the rest of the fleet.
You have a fleet?
Oh yes. I mean, if one does call 5 ships a fleet, yes.
I always thought it was just the one ship.
Nah, the Sea's gem, though she's my favorite, and she is my flagship, I do have the fleet. And we've been paid good money to go to Deepport. Also been paid really good money to try and make sure that Queso Stormclaw dies.
Who is that?
Some politician from Harvard.
And we're supposed to kill him?
Yeah. She has a piece of my history that I would rather make sure doesn't survive.
Well, I don't know how to take all of this. I've never killed anybody before.
Honestly, there's not much you can do. You're part of a pirate crew now. I don't plan on letting you go.
Letting me go? Am I a prisoner?
He just kind of nods his head to a forward but at an angle. Like, you can be whatever you want to. Kind of thing.
Kind of a go with it or else.
Yeah, and so like if you want to be a prisoner, step up.
Well, he's gonna kind of nod along with it and acquiesce. This is his family now, so he's kind of just doesn't know what else to do. You know, he's gonna go with it out of obligation.
So yeah, we're gonna bombard Beatport. Hopefully the bombardment kills her and my bit of ass. We should see Beatport. We should see Beatport within a week. 3 days. 3 days.
He's kind of just thinking inside his head, 3 days, so soon.
And the captain walks away. Now having an opinion about you. And now that like you've been here a little while, learned all your knots, as one would may say, kind of worked your way around the ship. Eventually, Smudge who has been learning alongside you, with less recognition, probably the next day, Smudge was like, "So, you still enjoy what we do?"
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. We're supposed to go kill someone? Yeah.
Smudge looks at you and is like, "I didn't join this crew. I was brought on board."
You were a prisoner?
That's one word for it.
What happened? How did they come to take you?
I mean, they bombarded my town. When all 5 of the jewels get together, it's never good.
Well, that's apparently what's happening in the next couple of days.
They're gonna attack Deepport. We've known about it. We've just been waiting for the captain to tell you about it.
Seems like everybody always knows stuff before I do around here. He says kind of grumpily.
Smudge says, "If I were to tell you, I would have been again. But I could get you out. They won't shoot at you."
True, but what about you? You know? Can't just leave you behind. and I can't just let them kill all those people.
Maybe you can get help. Maybe you can come back for me. They will shoot at me, but I can get you.
How would you get me out?
He looks over at one of the lifeboats.
Send me down on one of those?
Nemesis is about a day's row away.
Well, he's contemplating it pretty deeply. All of this information hitting him kind of at once.
And from Nemesis, you might be able to get help to Deepport.
Yeah, and then I can come back to the ship and get you out of here.
Yeah, it would definitely help. I mean, you are a Windwalker, but like I don't hold that against you.
I didn't even know what that. I didn't even know I had that name until a short time ago. And now I find out that name is just filled with blood.
He just kind of shakes his head left to right and kind of shrugs. And he's like, well, we're not all that our name is.
True.
We're not.
I suppose.
Meet me, get your gear ready, and meet me at the stairs for nightfall.
Okay, I will.
Marin and Shu are on guard tonight, so your bunks will be empty.
I'm assuming those are the two that sleep.
Yeah. Those were the two that sleep directly below you.
Okay. So it'll be fairly easy to sneak out of the bunk.
Yeah. Especially for, a third floor.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah.
Eventually, nightfall comes. And the only reason that you can tell when it's nightfall on a ship is because it gets even harder to see inside.
Yeah. Gathers up all the stuff the best that he can and makes his way to the stairs.
Standing there is Smudge, looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right, and he's like, puts his fingers up to his lips, points at you, then points at himself, and then turns and starts walking up the stairs.
Following Smudge's lead, he's gonna, kind of sneak as best he can. Doesn't
Give me a dexterity.
Dexterity.
Okay, so with an 18. Can you say the word 18 for me for a moment?
18?
With an 18, you're definitely absolutely silent. Working your way up onto the deck, and then he helps you get onto the lifeboat. As you climb on the lifeboat, you notice that there's a barrel tucked into this lifeboat.
Okay.
He'll say, I got some water from the kitchen, so be careful with it.
Definitely don't let Clef know you took it.
Clef already doesn't like it. They've been eating the scraps most people throw away. A while. What's it matter?
Just be careful.
I will. I promise. And you see him start messing with the wood, and you start lowering down. Quite slowly at first, which is probably a nice relief that the Brunei just didn't
Drop
drop
it,
you off
yeah.
and but then the unmistakable click of the crossbow. And the next thing you know, you're free falling 10 feet and land in the water.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Well, having just dropped what I assume is a pretty decent...
It was like 10 feet.
Oh, 10 feet, okay. Definitely not able to see what just happened up there, though. He's gonna assume the worst and try to keep himself covered as much as he can in the lifeboat, but also try to get out of there. I mean, he heard a crossbow. He knows violence is happening.
Go ahead and make me a strength.
Strength. With athletics.
Yep. That's fine.
21.
21, you definitely start moving away from the ship. You get a good bit out. Before... And I do think you're focused on looking at the ship.
Yeah, he's wants to know what happened, but definitely wants to get distance.
And eventually you see 3 people standing on the deck of the ship.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, lightning crashes and lights up the area. And you see that one of those 3 people, it was your 2 bunkmates and Aegis.
Okay. Kinda.
And then all of a sudden, the light disappears as fast as it came. Because
Yeah.
thunder. There's the lightning
Flash and then it's gone.
all of a sudden, you see one body falling from the boat. And then you see another one. And then you see a third. The first 2 were definitely like waving their arms and stuff. The third one, no. And you keep rowing. And the Seas Jewel keeps going in the same direction.
So they're not
Which was
swinging around to chase, they're just sailing on.
again, you keep rowing because at this point, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You see shapes in the water that concern you, even frighten you, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Just row on, hoping for shore.
A day comes and you take notice that you missed them by a lot.
That's not great.
2 more days later, you wash up. You eventually come to the shores of Nile.
Am I aware of what island I'm on?
It is either because you know you missed Nemesis because it was way too long. But it is either Arcadius, Pierre, or Munster.
All right. Is there any? So I'm on the shore. Is there any kind of buildings near me?
Not on this side of the of the island as you know it.
Okay.
But you do see some off in the distance.
I'm assuming after rowing for 2.
That should be fine.
All right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Longer session than was intended.
Oh yeah. No, it's just finally starting to catch up with me. All right. So after what was it was 2 days or 3 days of rowing.
It was a grand total of 3 days.
3 days.
Of being on the river.
So 3 days of rowing, he is exhausted. He's on the shore, doesn't see anybody around, or does he see any real traces of?
So, you do take notice of a rather large mountain.
Okay.
That seems there's definitely a city built up there. That is also attached to the docks, but it's on, like I said, it's kind of. I mean, it's probably like a 4-hour walk from where you washed up.
Okay, yeah, he's not making that directly after washing up on shore. So he's probably gonna collapse in the sand for a bit and pass out, more likely than not. Once he's awakened and able to move, he's gonna head towards that settlement.
As you make your way into that settlement, you're actually going to find yourself. It's actually going to be easier for you to kind of skirt around the beach and go around. So I'm kind of assuming that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And make your way onto the docks a little bit. And on the docks, you see a panther-like pet and a satyr. Who better to know if there's a windwalker somewhere nearby than the dockmaster?
Make my way to the Dockmaster.
You come to this panther-like cadet. He's like, "Hey, what do you want?"
Hello, my name is Les. You can call me Les. I have come looking for the Windwalkers.
The windwalkers, you say? I mean, do you see the gem of the sea in dock? No, the gem ain't here. Like, the Maiden's Glory ain't here either. Neither is the Golden Globe, Matriarch's Sail, or the World's End. Those are the 5 ships of the Windwalkers. You see them anywhere nearby? No, you don't see them nowhere. Thank you for listening to our prologue. We are all excited for the first tale to begin next week. We hope you enjoyed listening and would love it if you let us know. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and even TikTok. The link to our link tree will be in the video description.